I've been early all my life.
All right.
Just show up late. And, can you lead the meeting next week?
What is that?
Tuesday?
Tuesday the 12th?
Yeah, that nurse surgeon called and got me in. So I'm gonna go for my 2-hour consult.
What's wrong?
On my neck. I've been fighting with it for years.
Yes.
And,
When you said neurosurgeon, I was thinking something else.
what was you thinking?
Well, neurosurgeon's brain.
Well, that's what this is.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, it's my neck.
maybe that'd take care of some of the issues.
That would answer some questions. Is that what you're saying? Gary, slap him. Would you like to just reach over? Lon, take his.
Getting frisky.
Yeah. Make a note of that and delete his GIF that we just bought.
Says a little bit.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the workshop for the Village of Ruidoso Council. It is November the 1st, and it is 8 o'clock. And if you would stand with me for a moment of silence and then join me in the pledge. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures.
All right, thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll start off with a roll call, please. Ma'am?
Mayor Crawford,
Here?
Councilor Eby,
Here.
Councilor Luderman. Here. Councilor Salas,
Here?
Councilor Hooker,
Here.
Councilor Coughlin,
Here.
and Councilor Jackson.
Here.
All right. We'll go over the items today. These items are purely for discussion and informational to determine if we want them on regular items or consent. So first item is discussion of resolution 2022-48, a resolution amending ordinance 2014-06 Ruidoso and the village personnel policy, chapters 5 through 7. Cheryl?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you all have a handout of chapters 5 through 7, the proposed changes. And I know you'll want to look at those closely. There are some, quite a few changes throughout. And we are waiting on a last bit of guidance on a section to establish that previously hired employees would follow the old policy, and newly hired employees would follow the updated, adopted ordinance.
Do you mean that we're having to look at the lawyer give us so we may have to, are you saying that the employees now might have to go by what this is?
We're just waiting on some final wording to stipulate.
Oh,
The ones that are hired will be under what they were hired under,
Correct.
and then as the new
Well, I
ones,
know,
they
that's what
transit. That's what, and the lawyers are gonna just find out how we have the transition.
well, I just wanted to make sure, because that's what I've been under the impression, but I don't, the way Cheryl put it, I was wondering if that wasn't
Sounded
going to
like
be true.
everybody's going to go over this once we approve it, is how I understood it.
Well, it can't be that way. It's
Okay,
everybody's
so they're
grandfather.
grandfathered in and
Correct.
Yeah.
that
And
that
it's
makes
specific
sense.
to chapter 6, the benefits section.
Right.
Yeah, is what I'm referring to.
Right.
Mayor and council, I think what Cheryl's, trying to express is that, we want to make sure that we have legal advice, exactly what are the property rights and what aren't.
Right.
Right.
There are some benefits that are questionable as the committee was going through it. So we're trying to get clarification on that and then put in certain sections where there is a property right established, that would be a transition from current to, new employees. So I believe believe that's what we're talking about, because I can't remember exactly what, but there were some discussion on some of the benefits that you earn after the fact that, I think we need to be careful with.
Okay. Coughlin, you were on that committee.
Yeah, no, I can understand what Susan was saying is the way it was expressed. If you weren't part of the discussion, it did seem like, who knows? But it's really just to go back to the lawyers to get specific language to clarify that, so that we can move forward. I'm looking forward to finally getting this part going. We've been working on it a long time.
Since December.
Since December. Cheryl, just out of curiosity, how many people do you have in the process of hiring now?
Counselor Mayor, right now, currently
Right
coming
now.
on board, I'd say a handful,
A handful?
Yeah.
How long does it take to process them to actually become employees?
couple of weeks.
So those are the ones that might be questionable, is if they're in the process, or does it go, this is something you might want to talk to a lawyer about, is does their version take place as of the specific date of hire, or once they enter the hiring process, the hiring stream?
Mayor and Counselor, Zach could probably weigh on that, but until this resolution is executed, signed off on by the mayor, approved by the council, it doesn't go into effect. And until we give an offer letter, their employment does not begin.
Okay.
Mayor, Council, I just wanted to point out as well, on any of these changes, if the resolution is adopted, we will need a little bit of at least a pay period to set up our Tyler system to incorporate some of the changes. So I wanted to talk about that.
I think we could set an effective date, right? Like, even if we wanted to say January 1st or, taking effect, or December 1st or
Mayor,
something.
yes, Counselor, you can put an execution date on that.
Okay,
Maybe January 1st. would be
that's
your
what I
best
was
thing.
thinking, that
Okay.
Mayor and Council, and as you look through this, this is one of the chapters where we've really talked about, how rich the benefits were or are currently when it comes to a lot of the fringe benefits, and it's not really, a lot of the employees aren't recognizing that. You all did a pay study and, really went up on the pay side, and that's where a lot of the employees are valuing, their position, coming to work and whatnot. And then there's a lot of situations, just like the accrual and the payouts on the leave.
Right.
that
Sick
were-
pay and leave.
Yeah, that were a huge liability on the village. And, one of the things that we're still considering and studying is, what would it take to, buy out some of that sick leave, so we're not keeping that on the books. And then it just becoming an increasingly more costly liability to the village. So, we're looking at those type of options to give you all as well. So, and there again, those type of things would only affect the employees being hired after the adoption of this.
I wish I would have had this last week.
Yeah, Mayor, Councilor, we apologize for that, but just bouncing it back and forth.
Yeah, because we got a week to go over it and stuff, because like right off the bat, I see that we scratched out mealtime, so we're not letting them go for lunch or anything? I
Mayor,
couldn't
Council-
find where it's added in there.
Mayor, Councilor, we are allowing them mealtime. We're just trying to keep consistent with the law. And in that case, we're being advised that New Mexico doesn't mandate, and so it's an option. So I think that's the way that it's being
So I
recommended.
could tell already, I'd like to add that back into the,
If you flip the page, on the next page, it does define unpaid meal breaks. So it's not taken out completely.
And a lot of the changes just were trying to make it consistent with current law and, practices. And then in a lot of areas, there was a lot of redundancy that we've deleted out of the policy.
See right there, employees who work more than 6 hours in a day are permitted to take an unpaid meal break of 30 minutes and up to 1 hour, depending on department. 5.7.
Yeah, 5.7.
5.7, okay.
And it's really a change from permitted to
But
shall.
I didn't see the scheduled nap time that was traveling afterwards. So it's still covered in there. Okay.
Mayor, council, we just combined the two. They were separated. Meals was separated from breaks, and we just combined the two.
Definitely a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a pretty tough chapter and, you know, it has a lot in it, so.
Yeah.
Or 3 chapters.
I can't tell you how many months we went over this.
Well, this is a thing that can be so important, but then you get a few that abuse it and it upsets the apple cart for everybody. Okay, so that is definitely on a regular.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Item number 2, discussion on resolution 2022-49, a resolution creating the Ruidoso Cultural and Natural History for the purpose of promoting projects, programs. It sounds like some boy to help write, but I know he didn't. Exhibitions, policy and management related to cultural and natural history for the village of Ruidoso and region. And there he is, right there in front of me.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, councilors.
Hans?
Morning.
So this is a resolution formally establishing the committee that will largely oversee the Wingfield House Heritage Committee. But in conversation with Manager Dodge and the mayor and the members of the committee, we thought that it would be best for future projects to make the mandate a bit more expansive. That way, as things come down the pike that we're interested in dealing with, both on the natural history side and the cultural history side, that this committee could help make recommendations to the council for policy and projects and things of that nature. So, and the mayor also, you had asked me to put together a list of the current members of the kind of ad hoc committee, which I did, and then a recommendation for numbers. In the current resolution, we're recommending 5 members on this. Staff, I guess it's me, would make the recommendation that we consider 3 members being from the village of Ruidoso residents and 2 members being from Lincoln County at large. With the idea that this committee should be thinking more broadly about the cultural and natural history of the region and how we can collaborate with our federal land managers, our state land managers, our other heritage sites, our other communities, and things of that nature. So,
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions?
No?
Okay, so we would just be able to accept them all on, a regular item, or would we need to put some of this on boards and commissions?
Mayor, I believe that this is actually.
Your microphone.
Mayor, I believe this is approving the policies, and then, once you go to do the appointments to the boards and commissions, then we.
So we'll need to have that on the agenda as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So you'll need to get with her the names. So can you just read the names for us, who you've got on there now?
right now, the members of the current committee are Lynn Crawford, Tracy Crawford, Susan Lutterman, Frank Potter, Elizabeth Potter, and John Cornelius.
Okay. And so after we get that going, then we could start looking for people maybe that are on forestry or some people on the,
BLM, Department of Cultural Affairs, so, yeah.
because I think you're down to the final floor choices. They got some of the wood flooring to look at
Yes.
soon.
We're getting close, so.
I went by the other day and you still weren't there, so.
Oh.
Have you picked yet?
No, we have not picked yet,
Oh,
no.
okay.
No, we're
No,
still
but it's
waiting.
the narrow wood.
Yep.
Like it's in there?
Yeah, Zeke
Oh,
is,
okay.
Zeke is, supposed to be getting that today, actually.
okay.
The samples, actual physical
Oh, okay.
samples, so, yep. And I also have the samples for the cabinets as well, so.
That's what I was looking at. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, good. So we'll have this on there, and then if you'll have a boards and commissions to appoint those folks.
So is number 2 regular then?
Yes.
Yes.
Just clarification, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councilors.
Thank
you.
you.
Tim.
Item number 3, discussion on ratification of resolution 2022-50, a resolution approving the acquisition of real property located at 2320, 2324, 2326, 2328, 2932 Suttereth Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico, Lincoln County. So this is a ratification, so it would have, it could be on consent. This is the Upper Canyon Circle property.
Right.
So consent?
I'm good with consent.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4 is discussion on resolution 2022-51, a resolution finding the property located at 502 Del Norte Drive, Unit 3, Block 4, Lot 4 of the Del Norte Edition, Ruidoso, New Mexico, a public nuisance. You want regular?
Yeah.
Yes. I think so.
Okay. Counselor Luderman will be happy about this one. Luderman?
Nutterman,
Letterman?
Nutterman.
I was just trying to throw that in there because she's working so hard.
Looter.
Letterman.
I've been called worse, so.
Yes, she is. Is this mine?
That's yours, sir.
Item number 5, so that's regular. Item number 5, discussion on resolution 2022-52, a resolution finding the property located at 315 Paradise Canyon Drive, Block 3, lots 31, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 of Paradise Canyon subdivision, second supplement, Ruidoso, New Mexico, public nuisance. Yes, sir, Mr. Bobby Simpson.
Good morning.
And you'll have some pictures
Yes.
updated.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll have this on regular item?
Yes.
Everybody know what we're talking about?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we've talked about it before,
Me too.
so we just appreciate you getting on it.
I really do, Bobby, thank you.
No problem.
So, is that it? Oh, well, while you're here, let's not waste your time. So, let's waste a little more time. When people are blowing pine needles into the street,
Yes, sir.
that's not allowed.
Correct.
Okay, so I was tattling on some people yesterday because they were cleaning them up, just blowing them into the street in Midtown.
One thing that I've noticed, which we may put out an educational push on this, is some of the actual landscaping companies. The way that they operate now isn't ideal. What they'll do is they'll blow the edges of the property out into the street and then come back and clean it up. So I may put an educational post or something of that nature to try and get that information out there so that they're not affecting the roadways. But we do have a lot of places in town where they just blow it out in the street and expect the city to come by and take care of it. So we do quite a bit of education when we're able to actually catch them in the act of doing those things, and even if we can follow up and find out who did it. So
Okay.
anytime that anyone sees something like that, please give us a call so that we can address
Every
it.
morning over by Slotsky's and whatever, in that parking lot, Jay Roberts, all those, they just blow it right in the
Okay.
street.
We'll take a special interest in that area and keep our eye out.
Do we have any way of looking at business license and knowing which ones do landscaping services?
Possibly.
Yeah,
Because maybe just notification being mailed out to them
That would
gets
be a
the
good
word
idea.
out.
Yeah, that is a good
and
idea.
a lot of them are just kind of a handyman service, you know?
Some of them, though, are the business owners.
Yeah.
They'll be out there with their blower right in front of their shop or wherever.
But yeah, I know the blow and go guys, they just,
I'll look into that and see what kind of avenue that would be to make notification.
okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Mayor and Council, I think, Sam, we had talked about sending out letters to the business district, informing them of that issue, correct? So,
Okay, thank you.
All sides working on it.
Yep,
'Cause
appreciate
I
it.
have a feeling sometimes people just don't even think about it.
They don't, out of sight,
They
out of
don't
mind.
realize that it builds up and then the water goes everywhere. so,
Drainage,
yeah.
everything, so. All right, Dick, discussion on memorandum of agreement, MOA, between New Mexico State Land Office and the Village of Ruidoso to facilitate joint efforts to develop, fund, and implement projects to promote resilient forest and watershed conditions, mitigate post-fire risks to life and values at risk, reduce wildland fuels, maintain soil health, sustain hydrologic function. Why I have such trouble with that problem?
It's neurological.
It's neurological, definitely. And manage noxious plants on state trust lands and boundaries of the Village of Ruidoso. What does all that mean?
It's pretty generic MOU, and it's essentially to make it easier for state state land office to transfer money and come to agreement on natural resource type projects on the state trust land,
Okay. All right, where's our state trust land?
Moon Mountain.
Perfect. Zach, so what's the difference between an MOA and an MOU? Nothing? An A and a U? Okay. All right. So what do you guys want to do?
I thought Moon Mountain was in the county. It's within our.
But it's owned by the
corporate limits.
state.
It's owned by the state.
It's within the confines of it's surrounded by village property, and so it's actually within the village limits, I believe. But anyway,
I
we
mean,
have-
yeah, I know it'll work, but I just wanted a clarification that if it's in the county or if it's within the corporate limits.
I guess I can't answer that right now.
Mayor and council, I believe that the councilor's right, that it is within the county, and we do own property within the county as well. It's not incorporated into
Right.
the municipality.
Okay. Consent or regular?
I would say consent.
Okay. Consent number 6. Jenny?
Thanks, Dick. Let me know.
Discussion number 7 on intergovernmental agreement number NMMS 2023-002 with the State of New Mexico Economic Development Department for the benefit of Ruidoso Midtown Association in the amount of $80,000. And who is speaking to this one? Is this
Said Sam.
Samantha?
Good morning, Mayor, Councilors. This item is to accept the $80,000 in the grant agreement. We have met with the Ruidoso Main Street Association, and they're working on a scope of work on what they'd like to spend these funds on. We gave them a few different ideas that are within the language of the bill, and told them that they needed to stay within those parameters. So we haven't solidified what their scope of work is going to be, but we are working closely with them to get that done.
Okay, and Tim, this, is this new?
Mayor, council, last year during the session, the junior bill got vetoed.
Right.
And then they went back into a special session.
And then we split it up?
It was split up. We just didn't see that it had gone to the Main Street Department within Economic Development. It was hidden in that language, and we didn't see this amount.
So we still have the 200 and
Yes, sir.
whatever that we're using for the
Yes,
MRA?
we have the 230, and, this is an additional 80,000 that somebody pigeonholed.
Zach?
Sad.
Thanks, Pigeon. All right,
But Mayor, Samantha did say, that we are working with the Main Street Organization. We didn't realize that this was in the junior bill when it came out during the special session. And that's one of the reasons we partnered with the Main Street Organization or Midtown Association the way that we did on Party in the Pines.
Party in the Pines.
So they didn't go back to internal finance to request additional funds because, this is basically a windfall for them.
Okay.
And during the sessions that we were in last week, they actually talked about the junior bills, and they're trying to really make sure that that money is going to not-for-profit organizations. That's their funding opportunity. But they do need a fiscal agent, whether it's a state agency or a local government, to be their fiscal agents for administering these funds. I think Councilor Coughlin, you had a question about that and a discussion with Hubert on that. But if there are not-for-profits out there that are interested in us putting in money for the junior bill on their behalf, if there's needs out there in the community that we're not aware of, this is the instrument that we would utilize to help them get state funding.
Okay, so like on childcare and stuff like that?
Yes, and,
Discussed?
I think there's a couple other, not shelter fund, but
High Mountain
the
Youth.
domestic violence and High Mountain Youth and those agencies that may need additional funds.
But we would oversee administration of the funds, is that right, Judy?
Yes,
Okay, so that just didn't end up as a bonus.
or it could go into CYFD, or it could go into,
But I'm talking about specifically this RMA 80 grant.
yes, this one here, they're gonna have to give us a scope of work where they're gonna have to show and demonstrate some deliverables that they'd be providing to the village in consideration.
Have we made contact with them yet about doing a little education on setting them up with their finances? Their secretary, treasurer? He had, okay, because we talked about that. He wants to meet with us.
Mayor, we did have a discussion with
Stadheimer?
some of their leadership, and that, that we're willing to talk to them about how they should be setting up those finances and monitoring.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because they, on some of that they, on other monies that were given to them, they turned that into bonuses for, so,
Nice.
yeah, so I wanted to get that gig. Anyway,
Can I get them on my board?
Yeah.
yeah, the board, but the board didn't understand what was, they just saw the bottom line revenue.
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
what, on the agreement, it says the agency shall pay the village of Ruidoso. I don't understand that.
The agency would be the New Mexico Economic Development Department.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
Okay,
not
not
the
the-
agents.
This
it's
agreement,
like, oh my God.
Mayor and Council, this agreement is between us and the Economic Development
Got it.
Department.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is right now, we're in discussions with the Midtown Association, so we'll be coming back with an additional agreement on how they would provide us services. And one idea that I have in mind is that, there was 12 awards to other communities that applied for their $10 million that they had set aside. We need to make sure that they're getting active on that type of fundraising as well. And that's for capital improvements within the district.
So regular?
Yes. I vote yes on Reagan.
Okay. Number 8, discussion and possible action, thank you, Sam, on appropriation grant agreement number A2242019-G553 with State of New Mexico Aging Long-Term Services Capital Outlay Department to purchase new commercial kitchen equipment for the Ruidoso Community Center in the amount of $32,826. Yes, sir. Good job, Anthony.
Mayor, members of the council, yes, the appropriation is from the New Mexico Aging and Long-Term Services Capital Outlay. I had filed the grant to get new equipment, which would include a commercial dishwasher, ice machine, garbage disposal, and washer and dryer for the center. Items are outdated, over 20-some years old, leased, and so some of it has gone out already and some of it is going out, so this was huge for us.
Okay.
He's a go-getter, huh?
Yep.
Anthony, or Mr. Mayor, Anthony, do you need new faucets for your sinks?
Councilor, Mayor, we actually do need, there was one faucet that was replaced recently. We do need one more, and that'd be a good idea if I can fit that into this. If I probably can, so it's a good idea to look into that. Because one of them is really bad. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Where do you want it?
Consent.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Item number 9. Discussion on award of ITB number 2023-005B and contract to Roper Construction, Inc. for the Alto 3 H1979 POD 5 and Alto 4 H1979 POD 6 well improvements project in the amount not to exceed $2,442,637, no cents, including gross receipts tax.
That's a mouthful.
Yep, it is.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We went out for solicitation for this, for the Alto 3 and Alto 4 well improvements. We advertised in 3 newspapers, Ruidoso, Las Cruces, and Albuquerque. We held a pre-bid meeting and site visit on September 28th. On October 18th, bids were received. We received 2, and you'll see in the attachments the bid tabs, Roper Construction and Spartan Construction submitted. Roper Construction was the low bidder and was deemed responsive, and we have the engineer's recommendation attached to award the contract to Roper Construction.
And Mayor and Council,
Yes, ma'am.
we are requesting permission from you guys to add alternates just in case the engineer, or John Shoemaker and Associates does decide it is needed out in the field at that time.
Okay, repeat that.
What's the alternate?
So for the washovers, so if they decide that we need to call somebody in to do the washovers, we can bring somebody in with your guys' permission.
And
Okay.
what does washover mean?
Yep.
From my understanding, it's gonna be the flushing of the well, correct, Eric? No, sorry. I'm sorry.
Usually we dig a big hole
Yes.
for them to
No,
dump
correct.
into
That is correct.
while they're doing that. We've done that before.
Yeah, we did that over there behind Alto.
Yeah.
Mayor Crawford, counselors. So the washover, remember in the past wells where we didn't have the annular seal on the well, and so we need to bring it to
Right.
code, but we already have a casing established. So what the washover is they'll have a circular bit that will fit on the outside of the casing, and they'll drill around it and pull the casing out. Then we're gonna reset in a new casing. So there's already a surface casing there that's concreted in. The project is gonna ask that the contractor try to pull it out, so they have, it's kind of like, it has 3 hydraulic jacks on it. It clamps around the casing and they try to pull it out. And so we're gonna make sure that they try to pull it out, but if that doesn't work, then it's gonna authorize the ad alternates to do the washovers on the wells. So it's kind of the drill rig is already out there. And so we need to make that split-second decision to say, yes, they made a concerted effort to try to pull the casing. It didn't move, so we're gonna switch over to the washover. And that was included in the bid tab, so it was competitively bid out.
Okay. But we don't have, do we have an estimate cost of what
Yeah,
that
so
might?
each one they proposed $125,000.
125, okay.
And it's, I don't feel like we're gonna need it, but we might.
But it might, and it's good to have that. That's good. Mayor, the only question I have is on the piping, the 6-inch pipe, that's about a half a mile's worth of pipe. That's going to the pump house, correct? Not all the way to the plant?
It's gonna end up going over to where Alto Well 2 is. So we had a stub out put in whenever Alto 2 well was built. And so the idea is to get them all connected in together. So that's where you're getting that length of pipe.
Couldn't get it hooked up there, okay.
Okay, so Andrea, the base bid excluding GRT from Roper was $2,050,000, and then it said bid amount with preferences 1.9. What does that mean exactly?
That's for the alternate.
The resident contractor preference, they get
Oh,
5%.
the preferences, I'm sorry. Yeah, because it's a resident contractor, so they get a bid preference of that amount, just for scoring, not for actual totals.
Well, there's a lot of difference in the bids.
Yes.
Did anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll put that one on regular. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Item number 10, discussion on T-Hanger lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and Sierra Blanca Regional Airport and Larry Jessen for Alpha 2 T-Hanger beginning September 15th. Yes, gentlemen?
Morning, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. These agreements that I have here are all going to be month-to-month leases. They are continued until terminated with a 30-day notice. The Alpha hangar is $400 a month. Electricity is set up through Otero Electric separately. And that did begin on September 15th.
Okay. So while you're here, then we have a T-Hanger lease between Village of Ruidoso and Joseph Shell for Charlie 10 T-Hanger. How much is that one a month?
That one is $250 a month.
And that's a smaller, it's a T-Hanger, but it's much smaller than Alpha?
Yes, sir. So it's generally for a single piston aircraft, whereas Alpha is a twin engine.
Okay. Number 12, Charlie 12 T-Hanger with Luke Meter. How much is it?
$250.
So it's the same one, same size? Item 13, T-hanger, Bravo 9 T-hanger with Dave Stepp.
Yes, sir, he acquired a second hanger, so he's putting his first original one in one of the T-hangers.
Okay, and how much is that one?
That is also $250 a month.
Okay, so he owns a hanger and then he leased this one.
Yes, sir.
He's got a lot of junk. Item 14, a lot of planes, I mean. Discussion on T-hanger lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, James Lee West, Bravo 4 T-hanger.
And Mr. Mayor, this is also $250 a month.
Okay, so how many, and these were previously empty or are they just renewing them?
They were previously empty for some time. Of course, towards the end of the summer, we usually see a lot of people leave out of T-hangers, go back to their other homes during winter, so there's kind of a grace period between September and October, November, where we'll see people come in looking to store their aircraft for the winter.
Okay, and how many do you have available now?
Maybe one.
Just one? Okay,
Oh, that's,
But we have our 2 hangars that we just recently purchased, so we could store aircraft in if need be.
okay. All right, while you're up here, what has been done on that Hawker? Time's up, isn't it?
He contacted me, notified me that we can go ahead and pull it out early. His lease has been terminated and his account has been brought up to date. We pulled the aircraft out on Friday last week. We washed it up for him and we moved it to Mr. Stevens' hangar, where they came to an agreement to store it there.
Wow, that's got to be the most expensive non-flying airplane around.
is that the one that's been sitting there for all
Yeah,
this?
now then this other gentleman is going to lease him space in his hangar and pay his rent. Wow. And make some money, so, okay. Well, that's good for him, good for them.
Mayor, I have some questions on these leases.
Yes, sir.
So some of these are dating almost 2 months back. And what happens if council doesn't approve these? Shouldn't council approve them before people actually take possession of the?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, so why is it taking 2 months to come before council?
Mayor Coughlin, Councilor Coughlin, there's a couple of these hangars that I had the agreements wrong on them, and I had to go back and redo them and contact the leasee and notify them of the mistake on the agreement. So I had to resubmit the agreement to them, receive it back, and then get it into Novus. The other ones towards the beginning of September, those ones, I just fell behind on those agreements and I didn't get them into Novus in time.
So he's going to ask you why we don't have these in process already, just like we do our other contracts. So we need to make sure that these things are brought up and reviewed constantly so we don't get into these.
Mayor, Ron, are these on the contract checklist?
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, Tim, I don't believe they're on that contract checklist.
We need to get all those contracts, any contracts that we have with the village.
So we need to have all the hangar agreements, every one that's there. We'll
And
double check.
that holds true for any department. If any department has contracts or agreements, they need to be submitted to the clerk's office.
Okay, so what will you do, send out a notice to all departments too?
Mayor Crawford, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that that's a good idea, and then that way, because, you know, in our working, we forget about that kind of stuff, so it's always good to have
then-
somebody.
Is it going to be, Mr. Mayor, if I may, is it going to be who, just because the village is taking these contracts on, now is he going to be able to walk up next time and go, oh, well, I thought the village was tracking these, so I'm not tracking them anymore? Who's still going to be tracking them?
Mayor, Counselor, what we do is all the contracts are tracked, and at the directors' meeting, we have a process after we had that one hiccup a couple of years back with P&M. We have a process of notifying the directors or managers when their agreements are 120, 90, 60, and 30 days out, so that we ensure that they're addressing those contracts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because these are 12-month agreements from the date of the agreement. And again, my big concern is I'm looking at this from like a property management standpoint. You now have a tenant taken possession of a property with a lease agreement that hasn't been properly executed because the village hasn't agreed to it. So in my opinion, it needs to stop. Nobody goes into one of these until it comes to the council and it gets approved by the council, if that's going to be the process.
Okay.
Because it can get us into a whole bunch of potential hot water.
You could still do a nightly, because they do nightlies, you know.
Right.
But to get in a long-term contract, which I know it can be negated after 30 days, but it's still a long-term contract.
And did you say these were month to month right now?
Month to month for 1 year.
Yeah, notify, 30 days, you can get out of it.
Okay.
Okay? So, AC, you have anything?
No, sir.
Where's Chief at?
He's a little under the weather.
Too much candy.
Whiskey flu?
Too much candy.
Oh, too much candy.
I say consent.
Consent on all of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor? Will
Yes.
there be ratifications?
Just would be consent for approval.
I mean, what was the question?
Will this be ratifications?
No, because we're just, I guess it's half a dozen, 6 other, because
At this
it's,
point, it's almost a ratification because it's been signed and people have taken possession.
I haven't signed them, so it's.
No, but it's been signed. I mean, there's a signature on these, and I don't know if we need it on here. That might be something for Zach, there's a signature on here by the airport manager for and behalf of the lessor. So does that then make it a legal contract?
Does he have the authority to sign it?
No.
If not, then should that signature even be on there?
Mayor, Council, I believe that was common practice, and we probably need to change that. So, it'd be my recommendation that we go back and, get the proper signatures and then bring it back and leave it on regular for approval.
Okay.
And I thought that was something that came up in the past with previous airport manager signing things, and we said no more. It needs to be approved by the council.
Mayor, Council, it may have, I don't recall, but we will get it addressed moving forward.
So these will be regular?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Regular or not consent?
No, because,
Because we're gonna, okay.
Ratify them or
yeah.
and all that language to make it.
So, and then you're going to change after our council looks at the contract on the form behalf of lessor, airport manager, that's going to be removed?
Yes, and move to the mayor.
Okay. Because it has a spot for the mayor to sign, but this is on behalf of the lessor. So where's the leasee sign? I didn't see it. Did I miss it?
It's, right up above that.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, I see it. Okay. Okay, so we'll just pull that one little piece out. Okay. Agreed to.
And Mayor, at some point in time, if the council's interested in passing a policy that allowed the airport manager to sign off on that, that would be okay. And I don't know if one ever existed before, but it sounds like that may have been a previous practice.
Okay.
Or if you want to see all these come into the council, that's up to you to assign that authority if you'd like to.
Well, the only thing I can say is that place is kind of out of sight, out of mind. It has been, and we're trying to bring it back into focus. I wasn't even aware of what the lease, how much these things
The
were in.
amounts were,
Right.
And I think it's just good practice to know.
From what I remember in the past when this came up, there were leases out there for all kinds of different amounts. And it was just trying to streamline it. If there was a practice and a policy to streamline it and have it, pretty much boilerplate, it's so much per whatever, then at that point, I'd be willing to entertain allowing the airport manager to sign them. Okay. And just move forward. It would be the same as having a property manager on some of our housing that we have. The property manager is the one that's able to sign it.
Mayor and Council, would you like that added to the improvement plan for the airport for consideration?
Yeah, I definitely think it needs to be on the improvement plan, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
all right. Okay, anything else? Are we going to be talking about the improvement plan? Was that one of the issues that we were wanting to? Have we made any progress on that as far as pricing, the bids and everything back for the receiving all the IPRAs and on fuel farms and all that stuff yet?
We have the fuel farm information. I don't know about the IPRS.
We can't present the fuel farm information right now. I'm still working on reviewing the IPRA request.
Mayor, Council, there's 6 reports under the
Yeah, I'm
manager report.
looking at 7, actually.
Yeah, one's all reports, but if you'd like us to add a update on the airport, we can.
Well, just that it's, that we're moving along on. I mean, nothing extreme.
Okay, so you do want me to add that?
Yeah, just that, to see that they have been received, because, that was one of the conversations we were having is we put out for the IPRAs, but we haven't received some of them. And they're past due, and we all know about IPRA requests.
Yep. And we're going to be setting up the next meeting with you 2 gentlemen for next week.
Okay, for next week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I may miss that one. Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen. And then on other items for consent, we have the minutes for September 27th, workshop meeting, October 11th, regular meeting, October 25th, special meeting. Then we'll have another item on there for ratification of local driving while intoxicated grant for the county DWI program, the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration. And this was one on intoxicated alcoholism, alcohol abuse in New Mexico in the amount of $58,129.49. So we'll just consent that. So I don't know that Mr. Bill needs to be here unless he wants to. And then there's a request to schedule a public hearing on December 13th for the appeal of Planning Commission case 394-101 Meacham Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Where's that?
That is the green, isn't that the green building, the marijuana? Because it was approved, he was wanting to do manufacturing rolling zone.
Yes.
So I guess these are the folks that live over there that are coming in. So we'll schedule a public hearing for that, and then that's that quasi-judicial hearing that we'll have to have. So if contacted, y'all know what to do.
Yep.
Nada, no. Number 4, request a special.
Back up, Mayor. I was just thinking on that. At one time, when we jam-packed our agenda with these public hearings and quasi-judicial, I thought we kind of, and this is a good example, if that's a standalone meeting, because I know with property issues and lines and stuff, we got into some lengthy hearings on that, and I don't know if is this a slam dunk deal that, okay, yeah, go ahead and do it? Or
I don't know. According to the planning and zoning, it met the requirements.
right.
And so they've approved it. And I think there's conditions and stuff that would be on it. And then these people just don't like it.
Right,
So,
right. And it just, when you mentioned the quasi-judicial process, I just remember some of those that we had before that were pretty lengthy.
do you have any input?
Mayor, Council, and if I'm not mistaken, I think what you're asking, Counselor, is, does the appeal actually meet the process?
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
this is the item that's actually going on the agenda to request a public hearing. And I think Zach has taken a look at it in consultation, Sam in consultation with Zach have taken a look at it. But the neighbors need to be able to identify some adverse effect or some mistake or error that was made on behalf of the commission. If they haven't made it, if the commission didn't make an error, then it probably shouldn't qualify for a public hearing.
Yeah, so it's not a slam dunk that it's gonna be a public hearing. That's the decision
Okay.
you'll have to make Tuesday.
Is that correct, Sam and Zach?
Okay. Then
So
that'll
then,
work.
So
are
we'll
we
have
going to
s-
hear information
Yeah, that's
Tuesday
what I was
about the case to determine whether it's
Yes,
qualified?
well, they'll come up and the information that they're complaining about or they're wanting to stand on, and then these guys will talk about the conditions that does it meet the the requirements for overturning or even hearing about it.
But not determining whether to overturn it, just
Right.
whether to hear it.
Just to hear that, does it go on for a public hearing?
Got it.
Does it apply?
Yeah. This is the
Okay.
first of one of these that
Yeah,
ever had.
so,
Because we got two public hearings. Oh, that's scheduled for December. That's right.
And Mayor and Council, if you choose to have a standalone meeting to do that, you can. You do have the right to change the dates, and I think that's also what you're alluding to, Council.
Right.
Instead of putting that on a regular.
If needed. I mean, the way it's sounding, we could leave it as is.
okay. Okay. Then item number 4 is request as public hearing December 13th for ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Municipal Code of Ordinances, Chapter 54, Land Use, for case RZ 2022-431, Land Use Zone Designated Request from Planned Use Development designation to M1 Low Density Mobile Home District designation, attractive land in the SE4 of Section 10 and the E2 Section, whatever. What is the address of this? Where's this at?
Mayor and Council, this is the Sunny Slope property that belongs to the village that
Yes.
I'm requesting that we change to
Okay.
that same
Over by
zone.
the fire department?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
right across the
yeah.
street from North Park.
That way we had to reduce on the housing project down to 17 because of the
And that's
terrain.
where that 18 is going.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. Public input.
Do you have to let all the people know about that, or?
Yeah.
Council, we have.
Oh, okay.
What is it, 200 feet radius or?
Mayor reports and presentations. So this is, I haven't told everybody, I won't be here next week. So this way you have to introduce the new employees.
Okay.
Parks and Facilities Maintenance Director and Recreations Operations Director. They're still here. And update on the Mountain Coaster Project. So is Tommy going to be here?
I believe.
Yes, okay, awesome. Okay.
Keep
Boards-
forgetting my mic.
Boards and commissions, so it will be the Wingfield.
Wingfield.
And I think that's all that I have. I don't have one. I've got somebody looking for the library that's coming in and some others that I've contacted that have put in before. So if you have anybody, because.
Okay.
And I did text Tim, send Tim some stuff, and then we've sent him I don't see her, a little letter or whatever, thanking him for his service.
Okay.
Tim Lewis took a job somewhere and he's going to be traveling. Then we'll have the village manager report, sewer line project update, critical, the acquisitions of easements, Ron, to let us know where we're at on that. Hopefully it's smelling better than it was. Fall, winter events, holiday lighting. So this is where you guys will be talking about the drone show, lighting, Upper Canyon, Christmas
in the
music,
park.
all of that stuff. So that will be, it's going to be like presentation in stereo. I'm sorry I'm going to miss that. So. Fire mitigation behind Fire Station 1. That's going to be a good project. Where did Dick go? He left early. He went back to work, man. That guy's early. I got here early. He was already here. So that's a really good project.
It is.
That is some of the stuff that we need to start working on. Legislation, how we'd like to go to the roundhouse with because that was one of the things the governor, if elected, she said she would support. And from talking to Ron Ketty, if he gets elected, that he would support on suppression mitigation. So we want to talk about that a little bit. Snow removal, it's important that we discuss that. So that'll be who's first call, who makes the call to come out, all the way to where it gets to Josh.
Can we publicize, at one point we had priority, streets by priority.
Yep.
We
did,
publicize
yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, and they will, because they talk
Because
about.
that's always what I hear when it snows, when are they gonna get to my street? How come they do this one first? Why do they do Sutterth? So,
Do that again, that imitation. I'm trying to figure if I can tell who that was.
when are they gonna do my street?
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that'll be good, and
It's
then,
related to me, so.
by marriage? Or by
birth.
Okay, now we know. Okay.
I thought he was talking about his ex-wife for a minute.
Yeah.
She's in Albuquerque.
So, and that'll be good, just to let people know, and then we can publicize that, but if we can have all that. And so if, you'll get, Adam, if you'll let Josh know, so that we have all the things on it. The Main Street Facade Improvement Grant, that'll be Samantha. She'll let us know about those.
I love that.
We were getting some responses. I've been called by several businesses out there, requesting a little guidance on those things, which is very self-explanatory that you've sent to them, but people sometimes just need to be helped in that direction, but that's pretty awesome. We still have to pick the final committee, because I was trying to pick 3. I've talked to 2. They said they would do it. It's going to be an anonymous committee of people that have an eye for these things, that are business friendly, that understand, and they're going to be grading these presentations on the facades, which ones have the most merit.
I will not be on that committee.
Nope, you're not, and it's none of y'all.
No,
Okay. So I'll let everybody know it ain't none of these.
you can send donations, but it's not gonna get you anywhere.
Right. What kind of donations?
Whatever. You never know.
Okay, then we'll have reports from municipal officials. Then we have 3 public hearings. Appeal of revocation of conditional use on Carrizo Canyon Road. Does everybody know where this one is at?
No.
Okay,
720, something.
718.
718.
It was, for a long time, was a detail shop, kind of, you go right up, and then it was a mechanic shop, and then it's with all the things, and she'll explain it, but too much parking, leaving, it's a mechanic shop, and it doesn't meet the conditions of the use that it was. So it was revoked, and he's appealing it. Okay, so you'll get to hear all of that. Item number 2, ordinance 2022-08, or ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Village of Ruidoso GO bonds, Series 2022, the amount of $1,500,000. And this one is to enlarge, improve, extend the production and distribution components of the village's water system, providing that a Series 2022 bonds will be payable from ad valorem Texas, levied on all property. So this one's has already been approved. The voters have done it, and this is just approving.
Right. It's the other half.
And so we're at 10 years, right, Judy, on some of these, so we'll be retiring the first ones pretty quick. So it's been 10 years that this has been going on. You were here,
Oh, yeah.
so that was a big deal.
It was.
We didn't know if they'd go, and they went. So.
I think 2-1 even in favor.
Item number 3 is Restaurant B, liquor license with on-premises consumption and patio service to be used at the business known as Los Agaves at 390 Suttereth Drive. Everybody familiar? Okay. So that concludes the proposed, excuse me.
Sunshine.
Rusty.
So, does anybody have anything else that they thought should have been on there? Any questions?
I thought it was.
What are you giggling at?
That ought to be plenty, I think.
Yeah. So, and again, won't be here. I have a doctor's appointment I've been trying to get for about a year, and it came through, so.
Mayor,
I'll go.
Mayor, one thing, that, I felt to put on here that I think you probably need to update the council. Oops, I can't tell green from red, so I like both chilies.
Well, if you can hear yourself, it's green. If you can't hear yourself.
I have trouble hearing myself too, so I got all kinds of stuff going on. But anyway, Mayor, I think we need to actually do an update on where we're at with the marketing plan and the RFP that we put out for marketing and the approach that we're taking on that, as well as the events. So that's one of the things that, you know, if you would entertain this, Mayor, we would put that on under the manager's report as well.
Okay,
That'd be good.
I would agree.
Shoot, Mayor, if I knew you were gonna be gone, I'd say all these are on consent.
Yeah, you just bring plenty of lubrication so you can
That's
talk.
it.
Oh,
It'll be a fast meeting.
can't think of anything else. Well, what about our new police officer? He'll be in the new, we swore in a new officer yesterday. I didn't get to sign the certificate.
How many are we down now?
3?
3, great.
Yep. And what about our dispatch?
We've hired 2, so we're down 4.
And he went and looked at some cars, so we should have those by the end of the year. They said they're 6 to 8 weeks out getting, the cars are here, they're just getting.
I looked at them and they're physically in the lot getting ready to have stuff put in them, so
Woohoo.
we
Okay.
have all the titles and keys and everything.
Well, I was talking,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, because looking at cars is different than
Having
having
it-
title and keys and stuff, yeah.
well, I talked to the mayor of Rio Rancho because his state of the city speech, he was showing that they had like 20 new cars and a bunch of new trucks and that they were taking delivery of. And I was like, man, where'd you find those? They ordered them 2 years ago. And they came in about 4 months ago. And so he's got a bunch of them.
I wonder, do they lock in the pricing from 2 years ago, or do they?
No,
Did they have the
remember we
escalator?
went through that and but they met the same price.
Yeah, because what happened is the Ford Explorers that I had Phil on, they wanted to come back and charge us $8,000 per vehicle, even though that they already agreed to the other price. The Dodges I found, they honored the price that we didn't have to increase anything, so.
And after talking to several of our officers, they prefer the Ford. But we can't get them just yet. Okay, anything else?
Mayor, we do have a need for executive session today.
Yes, today we do.
Oh,
So we'll, if we can get a motion to move into executive session?
Prior to that, Mr. Mayor, if someone could define for me what a stated specific personnel position here is
That's supposed to be deleted.
Where's this at?
on the motion for executive session.
I believe that's supposed to be striked out is what I believe Ron told me. On the states where it says to put in, insert a name, Manager Dodge.
So does that default to the HR officer or?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what's.
On the deal, it says closed session, discussion on limited personnel matters concerning this, and then in parentheses, it says state a specific personnel position. So we don't want to state,
No,
we don't, it's just a personnel issue.
Cross out concerning the, and
That will be removed.
Well, in that case, Mr. Mayor, I move that we move into closed session for discussion of limited personnel matters concerning.
just drop it,
Just
matters,
drop, well,
yeah.
Stating, or citing 1015-1H2 NMSA 1978, further discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7 NMSA 1978, and discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property and/or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8 NMSA 1978. Any action taken as a result of the closed session will be brought back into open session, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, we need to have Zach, and then the other person shall be remain unnamed because he knows who it is. And then is there another one?
no. But Mayor, Council, just for clarification on that, I think, and, you know, I'll get with Jenny and Ron, but if we're going to be taking an action against an employee, then we would name that. And I think, but we'll talk about that. But we're not proposing any action being taken against any employee.
Okay,
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call.
roll call, please.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Luderman. Luderman. Counselor Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Hooker.
Aye. Okay. All right, we're adjourned and we will be back shortly, hopefully.